Hi, my name is Matt Althaus. I chose to do the country of Belize for this project, and I will be giving my presentation in the official language of Belize. Quick history about Belize. It was originally inhabited by the Maya. Yeah, at one point in time, there were about 2 million Maya that occupied what is now Belize in northern Guatemala. The Maya Empire in that area really started evolving around 2,500 years ago. Fast forward quite a few years. The Spanish, when they first came to what we call the New World, largely avoided the area due to its lack of precious metals, gold and silver, it wasn't really occupied at all till the British first came in the mid 17th century. They did come for the timber in Belize, mainly mahogany and other shipbuilding materials. And it was known as British Honduras up until 1973. It wasn't until 1981 that Belize did finally gain its independence, although it did kind of stay under British rule. We'll get to that in a minute. Quick geography. Belize is located on the east side of Mexico in northern Guatemala. We kind of see right here on this map. You got the Gulf of Mexico right here, the Yucatan Peninsula, and then you have Belize, real small country, real small population. Then you have Guatemala down here. Belize is divided up into six what we would consider states, but mainly for geography locations. You have the lowland mountain areas to the south, flatlands up here in the north, flat coastal lands, and then you have over here, you have the Keys, the lagoons, other little small coastal islands. So those are the main four geography locations in Belize. The political structure, like I said, they are still part of, British rule a little bit, where the Queen of England still serves as the head of state. They do have a prime minister, a senate, House of Representatives. So it is very much set up just like England is. Over here on the right, there is a picture of the National Assembly building in Belize. The main economies in Belize, the labor force is very small compared to other Latin American countries, with only 172,000 according to 2020 numbers. You can see right here the unemployment rate is quite high. The site that I got that from didn't really indicate whether or not that had anything to do with COVID. I'm assuming that it does. The main economy in Belize is tourism. Other economies are garment production and food processing. Biggest food exports are sugar and bananas, followed by other fruits and then some seafood as well. Biggest challenges Belize faces is a trade deficit. They have more imports than they do exports, and then they also have rising debt. Some other factors in Belize's economy. They do have the third highest per capita income in Central America, but that's only just under $5,000. There's a huge disparity between the rich and the poor. There's not much of a middle class, and again, they're struggling behind a rising national debt and a trade deficit. There's quite a few different cultures in Belize. It's very diverse. The Creole and the Mestizos make up about 75% of the population, where the indigenous Mayan only make up about 11% now. The fastest growing immigrant group, besides other Latin Americans, are Asians right now, and mainly from Taiwan and China. African influences in Belize. You have the Garifuna and you have the Creole, the two biggest ones with African influence. and you can see a lot of their influence in Belize in the music and in the language. Major religion in Belize, not surprisingly, is Roman Catholic. However, there's a huge Protestant population as well. A lot of that is influenced from originally being part of the British Empire. Education system in Belize. It is very affordable. You can see over here on the right of the screen that if you are a Belize citizen or a permanent resident, the tuition is only $675 for 15 credit hours in the university, which sounds fantastic to all of us. But again, when you look at the per capita income, it's only just under $5,000. It's still talking about a lot of money. The school system is set up much like the American school system. They have grades, first grade through 12th grade. You do have to go to school until you're at least 14 years old. Biggest struggle right now with the education in Belize is only 70% of the teachers do have a teaching license. And then, not surprisingly, most of the best schools are part of the Catholic Church, the Jesuits, and the majority of them are privatized. Violence in Belize. Pretty much every year, Belize is in the top 5 countries in the world per capita for homicides. It's a very small population, so it's not an extremely high number of homicides compared to what you would see in the United States, but per capita is extremely high. And then I was reading in a couple different articles that about 99% of the Belize youth have been exposed to violence, and that's up significantly. From other Caribbean countries, specifically Jamaica, whose youth have only about 52% have been exposed to violence, according to the article. Pop culture in Belize, probably the biggest person, most famous person in Belize would be Shine. Probably a lot of you weren't even born when he was real big in the 90s, part of Bad Boy Records. He is a politician now back in Belize, and he is the former Prime Minister's son. His father was a Prime Minister up until last year. Punta Rock is a hugely popular in Belize. It's got the Garfunda influence as well as the Creole. And then as far as sports go, soccer is becoming increasingly popular in Belize as more and more Latin Americans are immigrating there. It was dominated by cricket, again, going back to the British roots. Basketball is becoming more international and is starting to dig roots in Belize as well. So the 3 questions I have, what is the official language of Belize? I mentioned that right in the beginning. What year did Belize achieve its independence, and what percentage of teachers in Belize have a teaching license? Hope you enjoyed the presentation.